that I'm ever doing on my channel. And thank you all for helping me reach 300 subscribers. I am really grateful to all, and you are so talented. Anyway, so today I'm doing a read aloud of one of the books that I got from my library. It is a book called Percy Jackson and the Greek Heroes by Rick Riordan. I think you all know who Rick Riordan is. If you don't, well, Rick Riordan is the writer of the Percy Jackson series, which is sort of one of the fandoms that I base my channel on. So I'm gonna be reading my favorite story in this on the Greek heroes. It's Psyche Ninja's A Box of Beauty Cream, because it's just so metamorphically and just the way Percy describes it all. It's just fun, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna start now. It must suck to be super gorgeous. No, I'm serious. Think about it. Psyche should have been had a happy childhood. Her parents were the king and queen of a Greece city. She had two older sisters, so the pressure was off about how well she did in school and who would have to marry. She should have been able to kick back, enjoy and the being the baby princess and live life however she wanted. Unfortunately, she was beautiful. I'm not talking about normal human level. Her sisters were normal beautiful, but Psyche had been as attractive as them. If Psyche had been as attractive as them, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at speaking, or even slightly more attractive, that would have been okay. But as soon as Psyche became a teenager, she went from being, that little girl is so adorable, to, oh my god, wow, she's hot. She couldn't open her bedroom window without 100 guys gathered in the street below, clamoring and applauding and throwing flowers, which really hurt if they happened to smack her on the face. Whenever she walked through town, she had to take 4 bodyguards with her to keep her admirers away. She wasn't stuck up about it. She didn't feel like she was better than anyone else. She didn't want the attention. In fact, she wished she was a normal girl with normal looks, but she couldn't exactly complain to anyone with her problems. Oh, poor you, her friends would say, their faces green with envy. You're too gorgeous. That must be a terrible burden. The older she got, sorry, the older she got, the more trouble she had keeping friends. Everyone at school started treating her cruelly. They excluded her and spread rumors about her, because that's what people do when they feel threatened. But I guess if you've ever been to school anywhere, you already know that. Psyche's two sisters were the worst. They pretended to be nice, but behind her back, they said the meanest things and encouraged everyone else to be mean. Oh well, you're thinking, at least she's super gorgeous. She could have any guy she wanted, right? Wrong. Psyche was so beautiful, so intimidatingly awesome, no guy dared to ask her out. They admired her, they threw flowers, they sighed and gazed at her face, and drew pictures of her during study hall. But they loved her the way you could love your favorite song or fantastic movie, or the best pictures on DeviantArt. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. She was above reality, perfect because she was unattainable because she was perfect. Psyche's parents kept waiting for marriage offers to roll in. None did. Her sisters were as just regular old mortals, beautiful, got married to rich husbands who were kings of old other towns, but Psyche remained in her parents' palace, all alone, without friends or a boyfriend or anything. This made Psyche miserable, but it didn't stop the adoration of the crowds. Sorry, pronunciation if that is. By the time she was 17, the town folk had constructed a life-size marble statue of her in the public square. Legends started spreading that she wasn't even human. She was a goddess come from Mount Olympus, a second Aphrodite, or even better Aphrodite. People from the surrounding kingdoms started to visit, hoping to catch a her hometown got rich off Psyche-centered tourism. They made t-shirts, they offered guided tours, they sold a full line of cosmetic products, guided and guaranteed to make you look like Psyche. Psyche tried to discourage this, but she was, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, pious, I'm sorry, and smart. qualities no one ever seemed to notice since she was also beautiful. She said she prayers and left offerings at the temples because she didn't want to upset the gods. I am not a goddess, she would tell people. Stop saying that. Yeah, they muttered as soon as she left. She's a goddess, right? Psyche's popularity went viral. Soon, throngs of people from all around the Mediterranean were making pilgrims to see her rather than to go to the temples of Aphrodite. You could probably guess how that went over with Aphrodite. One day, the goddess looked down from her personal beauty spa on Mount Olympus, expecting to see hordes of adoring fans at her main temple, sacred island of Cythera. Instead, the temple was deserted. The floor was caked with dust, the altar was empty, the priests were gone. A sign on the door read, "Gone to worship Psyche, BBL." What's going on? Aphrodite bolted upright, nearly ruining her manicure. Where's everyone? Why is no one worshipping me? Who's Psyche? Her servants didn't want to tell her because they'd seen angry before, but it didn't take long for her to find out. A few minutes watching the mortal world, a couple of hashtag searches, and she knew all about the upstart Psyche. Oh, Hades, no, Aphrodite growled. I'm the most important and beautiful goddess in the universe. I'm getting upstaged by a mortal girl? Eros, get in here. According to some legends, Eros was even older than Aphrodite. According to other legends, he was Aphrodite's son. I don't know which is true, but in this story, Aphrodite definitely treats him as her son. Maybe he was, or maybe Aphrodite just thought he was too afraid to correct her. Either way, the dude was the god of romantic love, kind of the man counterpart of Aphrodite. He was better known by his Cupid name. Oh, sorry, Roman name, Cupid. Does that mean he was a chubby Valentine baby with teeny wings, a tiny bow, and cute little arrows? Not so much. Eros was devilishly handsome. All the ladies wanted his photo on their home screen. You want details? Sorry, I've got none. Like Aphrodite sort of appeared however you wanted him to appear. So ladies, imagine your perfect guy, and that's what Eros looks like. He sauntered into his mom's audience chamber, rocking the skinny jeans and the fashionably ripped t-shirt. Hair tossed perfectly and his eyes gleaming with mischief. Theme song, "I'm Too Sexy," playing in the background. I'm making that up. I wasn't actually there. What's up? He asked. What's up? Aphrodite screeched. Have you heard about the girl Psyche? Are you even paying attention to what's going on in the mortal world? Eros rubbed his handsome chin. Psyche? No, doesn't ring a bell. Aphrodite explained how Psyche was stealing her followers and their offerings, as well as the headlines on the gossip magazine. Shuffled nervously. He didn't like it when Aphrodite got upset. She tended to destroy things with pretty pink explosions. So what do you want me to do? Aphrodite glared at him. What do I want you to do? Your job. Your arrows caused... Of course, Psyche already regretted her beauty. But Aphrodite didn't know that. The idea would not have computed into her immortal brain. Eros flapped his feathery white wings. Oh yeah, huge wings. Did I mention that? I'm on it. Mom, don't worry. Eros must be having a wonderful time, isn't he? Eros flew out of Aphrodite's day spa. He spiraled down towards the mortal world to complete his mission. He was curious to find this girl and see what the fuss was about. He absolutely adored shipping people with unlikely partners. Maybe he'd make her fall in love with the used chariot salesman, or some with an infectious skin disease. That would be hilarious. Oh, Eros chuckled to himself. Psyche's going to wish she never saw me. It turned out he was right, but not in the way he imagined. While down in the palace, Psyche hated her life. Her sisters were gone and married. Sorry, wrong order. She had no friends, she was alone, just her parents with a bunch of bodyguards. She spent most of her time with the shades drawn and the covers up over her head, and heartbroken. Naturally, her parents were concerned. Also, they'd been hoping to make good marriage for her because that brought lots of bennies like could be so miserable. The king came to visit her. Honey, what's wrong? What can I do? Psyche sniffled. Let die. I was thinking more along the lines of a cup of hot chocolate or a new teddy bear. Daddy, I'm 17! I tell you what, I go to Delphi and consult the oracle. The god Apollo should be able to advise us. We know mortal. She's destined to marry a monster, a fierce beast, even the gods fear. Dress her for her wedding, you would dress her for a funeral. Take her to the tallest spire rock in your kingdom. There she shall meet her doom. Doom, 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 echoed through the cavern. The orc's voice returned to normal. Thank you for your offering. Have a nice day. Once the king returned home, she went to see her. She went. He went to see her daughter. Honey, I have some good news, some bad news. The good news is that you're going to get a husband. When said the prophecy, she became still and quiet. Which was scarier to her parents than the king. She'd accepted her fate. She asked to die, hadn't she? Apparently, the gods had granted her wish. She was going to marry a monster and assume Mary was an I'm sorry for my pronunciations. I quite suck at pronouncing some stuff. She assumed Mary was an infesum for getting torn apart and devoured as part of the monster's balanced breakfast. Her parents wept, but Psyche took their hands. Don't weep for me. This is what happens when mortals challenge the gods. Stop the new Aphrodite nonsense sooner. I knew it was going to cause trouble. I'm no goddess. I'm just going to be sacrificed to a monster on the tallest rock spire in the kingdom. This would not be good for the local Psyche cosmetics. Oh boy, okay. Psyche's parents dressed her in a black silk funeral gown. They covered her face with a black bridal veil and put a bouquet of black flowers in her hand. They escorted her to the edge of the kingdom, where a 5-foot spire of rock jutted into the sky. Centuries ago, narrow steps had been caved into around it, so it could be used as a watchtower. Psyche climbed these steps alone until she reached the top. Here goes nothing, she thought. Looking at the rocky ground below, I hope I get reborn with average looks, or ugly. I would love to be ugly for a change. She felt no fear, which kind of surprised her. In fact, for the first time in years, she felt peace. She waited for a moment to see if some monster would swoop out of nowhere and bite her in half. When that didn't happen, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She jumped. As far as her parents could tell, from their vantage point behind the spire, Psyche had plummeted to her death. Similar to how Percy did, didn't he? They never found her body, but that didn't mean anything. It was a windy day and they were too upset to launch a full-scale search. Besides, Psyche hadn't died. That meant the monster of the prophecy had taken her, which was even worse. The king and queen returned home heartbroken, convinced they would never see their beloved daughter and Hi, said a disembodied figure. I'm Zephyros, god of the west wind. How you doing today? Terrified? Psyche said. Great, said Zephyros. So short flight where's it? Yeah. So we have a short flight this morning, heading over to my master's. What are you, Psyche demanded. What are you talking? Ah! The west swept her away at 1,000 miles an hour, leaving behind Psyche's stomach and a trail of black flower petals. They touched down on the grassy valley, blanketed with white wildflowers. Butterflies fleeted through the sunlight. Rising in the distance was the most beautiful palace Psyche had ever seen. Thanks for flying with today, Zephyros said. We know you have a lot of options when choosing a directional wind, and we appreciate your business. Now you better get going. Be waiting. Whew, but the air was still. Psyche sensed the wind god was gone. Nervously, she approached the sprawling villa. Gardens and orchids surrounded the property. Clear stream wended through the flower petals. Shady arbors were ladened with honeysuckle. Psyche passed through the main doors into a living room with a paneled cedar and ivy ceilings. Walls attached with silver geometric patterns and a mosaic floor which were made of precious jewels. Comfy white couch faced a low table faced a low table with bowls of luscious fruit, steaming fresh bread and pitchers of ice cold lemonade. Where was it? Yes. And that was just the first room. In amazement, Psyche wandered through the palace. She found atrium, atriums with rose gardens and entering fountains, bedrooms with the finest linings and feathered pillows, libraries, oh gods, libraries full of scrolls with an indoor swimming pool with a water slide, a gourmet kitchen, a bowling alley, a homemade theater room with overstuffed reclining seats and a popcorn machine. This place had it all. Made her family's royal palace back at home look like one of those nasty portable classroom things. She opened a random closet stacked with gold bars gleaming inside. She opened another closet. Tupperware bins were neatly labeled diamonds, emeralds, rue bow ties, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, freezies, and sapphires. So many riches. The contents of any. Okay, where was it? Yes. The contents of any broom closet in the palace would have been enough to buy a Thailand and your own army to defend it. Who lives here? Psyche wondered aloud. Who owns all this stuff? Right next to her, a woman's voice said, You do, mistress. Psyche jumped, knocking over a large vase that shattered and spilled diamonds on the floor. Who's there? I'm sorry to startle you, mistress, said the invisible woman, but I. Don't worry about the mess, mistress, said the servant. A gust of wind swept up the diamonds and shards of broken vase and whisked them away. Anything you need we will provide, said the servant. I've drawn a nice hot bath for you. After that, if you're hungry, your private buffet line is open all day. If you require music, just ask. The invisible musicians know all your favorite songs. After dark, I'll show you your bedroom and your husband will arrive. Psyche's throat twisted like a Twizzler. My husband? Yes, mistress. Who's my husband? The lord of this house. And who's the lord of this house? Your husband, of course. Psyche took a shaky breath. We could go around in circles like this forever, couldn't we? If you wish, mistress, I'm here to serve you. Psyche decided a hot bath would be a good idea because she needed to calm down. After her soak in the tub with a dozen choices of scented bath oils accompanied with floating candles, thousands of what? Thousand jet jacuzzi. Okay, yes. Okay. Whirlpool action and soothing music. Invisible servants brought her the beautiful, comfortable clothes she'd ever worn. She ate the best dinner in her life while unseen musicians played her top 10 tunes and the sunset went down over the blooming apple tree in an orchard. The knot in her stomach only got tighter. Her husband would arrive after dark. The oracle had warned her parents she was doomed to marry a monster, a barbaric beast feared by the gods themselves. How could a monster live in a palace like this? If he wanted her dead, why wasn't she already dead? By the way, the whole thing is starting to sound like a Beauty and the Beast. with the mysterious monster dude who lives in a cool palace with magic servants. There's no accident Beauty and the Beast was totally a story. Just don't expect the singing teapots because they're going to happen. Finally, nightfall came. Seki could have refused to go to bed. She could have tried to run away, but she decided that it would only postpone her fate. After hours of wondering, it was almost a relief when it got dark. Besides, I have to admit, she was a bit curious. She'd never had a boyfriend, much less a husband. What if? What if he wasn't so bad? The invisible servants guided Psyche to her bedchamber and gave her a nice warm set of my little Pegasus pajamas, and the kind with footsies. She climbed into her huge bed, which was so soft it was like floating on air. She knew about that thanks to her trip with Zephyros. Okay. The breeze swirled through the room, snuffling out the candles and lamps. In total darkness, Psyche door open. Bare feet padded across the marble. Something heavy sank onto the edge of the mattress. Hello, a man's voice. He didn't sound monstrous. He sounded like a radio announcer. His tone was gentle and tingling with humor, as if he understood how ridiculous this first meeting. I'm sorry for the drama, he said. It was the only way I could meet you without certain people noticing. Psyche found it difficult to talk because her heart was lodged into her windpipe. Who are you? The man chuckled. I'm afraid I can't tell you my name. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm definitely not supposed to. So if you could just call me husband, that would be great, assuming you're okay with marrying me. I have a choice. Look, I'm in love with you. I know that's mean since we just met, but I've been with her. She endured that her whole life. You think you're in love with me because I'm beautiful? No, said the man. Well, yes, of course you're beautiful, but I love you because of how you handled it. You never let it go to your head. You tried to tell the people no. You kept your faith in the gods. I admired the way you endured your sadness and loneliness. She didn't want to cry, but her eyes stung. Nobody had ever said anything so nice to her before. She was relieved to be in total darkness, where appearance didn't matter. The man touched her fingers. Psyche was surprised to find that his hand felt warm and strong and very. I can't even show you what I look like, he sounded sad. If you knew my identity, our marriage would fall apart. You would suffer terribly. It would ruin everything. Why? I'm sorry. You'll have to trust me. And I promise you this. I'll be a good husband. Whenever you need, just ask me. But the ground rules are non-negotiable. We could only meet here at night in total darkness. Each morning I'll be gone before dawn. You can never know my real name. You can never look at me. Don't even try it. Psyche could feel her own pulse racing as she held his hand. What if I accidentally see? What if there's a full moon or something? Don't worry about it, he said. The darkness is an extra precaution, but I'm also invisible. The only time you could see me potentially was when I'm asleep. When I'm sleeping, I can't will myself to be invisible. But as long as you don't do silly like get up in the middle of the night, light a candle, and intentionally look at me, we'll be fine. Psyche, I'm serious, though. You don't look at me. You don't want to look at me. It would destroy us. Us, he said the word like it was a real thing. Like they were already a couple. I don't want to rush you. We can just talk. I know this is awkward. Kiss me, she said, her heart fluttering. So I'm going to have to end this live within half an hour. I'll do a part 2 tomorrow too, so please stay tuned for that too. He hesitated. Hurry! You have lips, don't you? You're like a bird monster with You're not like a bird monster or a zombie or something. He laughed under his breath. No, I have lips. He kissed her, and Psyche's inside melted into her. My little Pegasus footsies. When he finally pulled apart, she had to remember how to speak. That was, wow, that. Yeah, he agreed. So, kiss me again, husband. She could feel him smiling. You're the boss. The next few weeks went great. Every day, Psyche chilled at the palace, enjoying her gardens and indoor pools, her bowling alley. Every night, she couldn't wait for her husband to get. He was the kindest, funniest, and the most amazing guy she'd ever seen. No way he was a monster. She touched his face. It felt like a perfectly normal human face. Handsome, in fact. Very handsome. His arms were smooth and muscular. Well, I think that's good enough. I'm doing my best here, but I'm not used to describing a dude from a lady's point of view. Sorry. Psyche was happily married, Enough said. The only problem was she missed her family. So I'm going to end it here today since I don't have much time. So I'll end at page 64. I shall continue exactly from here tomorrow. I'm gonna do it for 30 minutes each. So I enjoyed. Bye.